Okay, so let's bust a few myths, okay? Myth number one, it's easy to learn a new skill. No, it's not. This is bigger than programming, guys. This is life, right? Is it easy to learn Kung Fu? Nope. Is it easy to learn cooking? Nope. Is it easy to learn how to fix a car? Also no. Any real skill that is valuable is gonna take a lot of effort. I'm sorry I keep talking about this. That's just who I am. I take my work very seriously, and I want you guys to know that. So this is a movie called The Matrix. My bad, let me introduce you. Have any of you guys ever heard of a movie called The Matrix? Yeah? So this is very famous scene in the movie, right? Someone takes a wire, sticks it in someone's head, and they learn Kung Fu in like 2 minutes or something like that. Let's watch what happens.
I know Kung Fu. Show me.
So it's not like that, okay? For those of you who have not seen The Matrix, it's one of the best movies in the 90s. As someone who remembers that time, trust me, it's a good movie. You guys should see it sometime. We're gonna show you one more clip from this movie, and this clip is trying to explain to you something about life. There's a saying in English, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. Has anyone ever heard that phrase? Can someone explain what that means, Anne?
You can show the horn the way to the water, but you can't make it drink.
Yes.
Or I just understand that. I actually don't know how to explain it.
It just basically means you can show someone the way, but they have to walk down that way. We're not talking about horses, we're talking about people, right? Us as instructors, we can show you guys what to do, but you guys have to do it. Does that make sense? So here, I'm gonna show you this clip.
I know what you're trying to do. I'm trying to free your mind, Neo. But I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.
Yeah, so in the movie, Morpheus is trying to show Neo how to be amazing, but Morpheus cannot do it for him. I always look at it like this. You can pay a gym trainer $1,000 a month to teach you how to work out, but that person cannot lift those weights for you. It is impossible. Well, I mean, they can lift it for you, but then they are gonna get strong, and you're just gonna be watching. Does that make sense? Okay, let's move forward. You'll learn all sorts of exclusive secrets and secret codes. That's also not gonna happen. We're gonna show you a bunch of little things, okay? We're gonna show you 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, and all these inches are gonna add up to be a mile. So there's no secret formula, okay? This is not Harry Potter. We don't just wave a wand and say abracadabra, and then stuff happens. It's not that way. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a hacker.
God fucking...
So you guys can see that the first part was how people imagine it, people who are untrained. But once you guys get some training, you guys will see that programming is a lot about writing some code, running it, seeing it either continue or throw an error. And then if it throws an error, Googling. How do I fix undefined? Stuff like that, okay? All right, so we're gonna move on to our last myth. Oh my bad, the third myth. This class is only about teaching you how to code. That is definitely wrong, okay? Because if you guys wanna be a software developer, you gotta know a lot more than how to write code. I promise you that one. Some of the things that you guys gotta know how to do is work with your team. You are never ever gonna be working on a software application by yourself, I promise you. So you need to learn how to work with your product owner, with your UX, UI designer, with your project manager. That's teamwork. Communication. You gotta be able to say what you mean and get your point across, okay? Because on any team, there's gonna be disagreements, but you gotta develop that skill of how to say that they're wrong and be heard. which is quite hard because people don't like it being told that they're wrong. But that's a skill that we need to do sometimes. Maybe that's one of many skills, right? I'm just trying to say you guys need to know how to communicate yourselves. Self-awareness, can I do this or do I need help? Should I call someone? Should I call my technical lead and say, hey, I'm a little stuck, can you help me? So that's what I mean by self-awareness. Product sense. You guys gotta be able to figure out what's gonna work. What does the user want? That's a part of your job as software developers, okay? You can't have someone telling you where each button goes. You guys have to have that skill on your own. And like, if you guys had to have someone choosing colors for you and telling you like, hey, move that button to this way or that way, then it's not a good sign. The best developers know where the button should go and like what screen we should lead them to. You guys are gonna get a feel for this as class continues. The next one is following processes. Okay, no one likes following processes, but every single job is unfun in that way, that you have to follow certain rules. Does that make sense? And lastly, you gotta be professional. You gotta tell your teammates what you're doing, tell your boss what you're doing. Every now and then update them even though you're already busy and you don't wanna write down on an app or on your Trello board, say, hey, I'm doing A, B, C. And then 10 minutes later, check it as done. So these are things that we need to know how to do. I always kind of like it, or think of it as like being a waiter. Has anyone here ever worked in a restaurant? Okay, a good amount of you, yeah. I worked in a restaurant for 3 years when I was in high school. So someone here who has raised their hand a second ago, can you tell me, what do you have to do to be a waiter? What are some of the things you have to do?
Take orders.
Take orders, okay. What else?
Waiting on tables.
Yeah, waiting on the table, take orders, what else? Customer service,
You're check the food.
check their food, every now and then walk into the kitchen and see if their food is done. Okay, what else?
Kind of have to multitask.
Gotta communicate with them in their board.
Talk to them, be friendly. What else?
Multitask.
Multitask, okay.
Bring in their food.
Bring them their food. Okay, so I get it. You guys are all talking about waiter stuff, but I'm talking about much simpler things, okay? A waiter has to sweep the floor every now and then. If someone drops something, they have to sweep it. And if you work at a restaurant that has tables, which most restaurants do, they might have a little soy sauce thing right there. And at the end of the night, the waiter has to get a big one and pour it into every single one of them for the next day. This table, that table, that table, that table, that table, that table. However many tables there are, every single one of them. So what I'm trying to say is just like a waiter has to do many things other than take orders, a software engineer has to do many other things other than write code. Yeah? Was it a question? Okay, so myth number 5. Materials instructors are 100% perfect. They don't have mistakes. Can someone please help me? What mistake do you see up here? Mistakes is spelled wrong. What's another one? Okay, well, we need to pay more attention to detail because look at what myth number this is. 3. We're gonna go on to our next myth. What myth number is this? Okay, so we skipped ahead one. So that's actually the attention to detail that you get better at over time. You gotta pay attention to every single little pixel. Even this little itty bitty one right here. You gotta pay attention to that. Okay, so elaborating further, this slide demonstrates to you that even developers that have 10 years of experience will sometimes forget things, and then they'll have to Google it. So like that's a part of your job. I guarantee you, none of your technical leads in the future is gonna remember everything. I promise it. I 1000% promise it. I bet my life on it, is actually now that I think about it. So know that no one is gonna be perfect, but we're just like you guys, your technical lead is not going to expect you guys to be perfect. Okay, you don't have to build a perfect app. You guys just gotta try your best. And if you guys try your best and you like do something that moves the project forward, make it run faster, make it more dependable, make it scalable, then you guys are qualified. So just solve one of those 3 problems. I don't even care. Faster, beautiful, scalable. Does not have to be perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about the program details in detail. Okay, so we want you guys to imagine the next 3 months as job experience. Who here has ever had a job before? Yeah, mostly everyone, I think. Yeah. Okay, someone help me. What goes into having a job? What is any job in the world? It doesn't matter. What job? What is it? What do you have to do to have a job, to maintain a job?
Discipline. You have to show up.
1000% correct. I like this guy already. That's actually the correct one. Well, actually, yeah, follow instructions, right? If your boss is paying you money and he says come there at 10 o'clock, what time should you get there?
9:50.
Probably about 9:50. Whoever said that right there. Yeah, that's probably about right, okay? But at the very least, it's 10 o'clock. So follow basic instructions. Go to work on time, do your work. Number two, what I said a second ago is that like no boss is ever gonna expect you to be perfect. If someone is your boss and they expect you to be perfect, they're not gonna be your boss very long. Because you're either gonna get fired or they're gonna get fired. Okay? The idea here is not to be perfect, the idea is just do the best that you can. And no one's ever gonna be mad at you for that. Number three is to contribute to a happy workplace. Try not to be a dick. You know? And if you can't focus on your work, then don't distract other people. Let them do their work. People, like I said, people came here to learn how to be a software engineer. Your objective here is to learn how to be a software engineer. It's not to make friends. And I get it, making friends is fun, but I can promise you, and I'm going to show you this in a second, that if you become a software engineer, you will have plenty of friends. I promise you that one. You'll have people from all over the world trying to be your friends. I guarantee it. So that goes back to number 4. This is one that's very important to me personally, because I want you guys to know that the skill is what you guys really need. Once you get the skill, a lot of people will want to be your friends. Not everyone, but like a ton of people. Yeah? Okay, so in more detail, the content that you guys are going to learn in this class is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript within the first 3 weeks. The second 3 weeks, we're going to learn about React.js. It's a framework brought to you guys by Facebook, and it's just basically the world's most popular framework. It's how you build beautiful UIs. I'll talk about that in more detail later, okay? In the following 3 weeks, we're going to learn about Node.js, which is used to build APIs. And that may sound like a scary word, but just know that that's one piece of the puzzle. Okay, so we're gonna we got a big puzzle, and we're gonna take it apart and just do individual parts of it at a time. And the last 3 weeks of class, we're gonna be focusing on a final project. Oh yeah, 2 weeks. My bad. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. You guys are gonna be focusing on a final project. A final project is just basically your masterpiece that you showed that demonstrates that you guys can do the job. Okay, so like I'm gonna tell you right now, if any of your future technical leads are like me, they're gonna wanna see something running. They don't even care about your degree. If you can show them a working app, that's gonna be far more impressive. So the fourth quarter of class, that's where we build something. We build something that's never been built before, and we prove that we've learned a lot in this class. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay, let's move forward. Okay, so here's a weekly structure right here of our class. Basically how each week will go. On Monday, we show up at what time?
9:15.
Yeah, okay, girl. Damn, I like where you're going with this. Okay.
Sorry.
So we get here at 9:50, we have a coffee, we relax, we get in the zone. Have you guys, who here has seen the movie Gladiator? Gladiator. It's with Russell Crowe, no one? Fuck, man, I'm old. Okay.
I got you.
Okay, so basically, okay, thank you. This is, damn, I don't know if it has no context. Just know that like, showing up prepared to like learn at 10 o'clock is actually quite hard. You guys gotta get up at like 8, have your breakfast, take a shower, brush your teeth. You guys have to have that type of discipline. Was that you, Jurgis? Discipline, I'm serious, man. I want you guys to be successful. For me personally, I want you guys to be successful. I want you guys to join my little army that I'm building. So, I have this demand whether you guys become stronger people. So like, I know that sounds scary, but I just mean like go to class, do your work, stuff like that. Yeah. So anyway, elaborating on this weekly structure again, every single day, let's look at it right here. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we show up at 10, and then at 10:30, we start lecturing. You're gonna see me or Bitna or Quad just build an app right in front of you to prove it to you this can be done. All you gotta do is know a little bit of code. You guys have seen that already. Been typed in a couple keys. She did it in the right order. She followed some rules for HTML and CSS, and bam, she had a beautiful Burger King website. That process is going to continue, and we're going to be building much more sophisticated applications. I promise you. Like right now, you may not recognize what's sophisticated, but I'll show you guys in just a few moments. At 11:30, we'll break. You guys can have lunch here. You guys can like walk around, whatever. Or you can just continue working on your apps. Doesn't matter. Me personally, by 11:30, I'm not tired yet. I'm still ready to go. So if you guys want to keep coding, let's see who can code better. Lastly, at 1:30, we're gonna go back and continue on our work. We're gonna have pair programming, homework, and project work. Does that make sense, everyone? And then lastly, we check out about 5:30 to 6 o'clock. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, 9:50. Good job, man. Okay, so just to explain the different types of work, we have pair programming. Pair programming is where you and one other classmate put your heads together and work on a single app. Okay? One person sitting there driving, just typing keys. The other person sitting next to them, telling them which way to go. Make a left at the next light. Okay, now go down 2 lights and make a right. Yeah? So it's just basically you guys are working together, just like when you have when you're on a road trip or something. Our regular homework is where you work by yourself. You gotta Google a lot. You gotta watch a YouTube tutorial, stuff like that. You guys are expected to learn how to do some independent research, kinda. And then lastly, you guys are gonna be working on a group project. And this is where you develop the real skill. You can't, this last one right here, this skill, you cannot learn that on YouTube. You cannot learn that on Udemy, okay? It's impossible. I tried, okay? You have to actually, in order to learn how to swim, you gotta get wet. So if you want to learn how to work with a group, then you need to get wet. You need to work with a group. Okay, so now we have a bunch of class rules.
Okay. All right. So again, my name is James. I am part of the student experience team, and generally, the student experience job is to make sure that your journey is an experience, right? A lot of times, what we've seen is that as the class progresses, we like to get feedback from students and then make improvements, small improvements and changes week over week. We find that crawling data and getting information directly from you guys overall improves the general experience of the course and also improves the chances of you guys all getting jobs after the 12 weeks. Now, having said that, we do have some policies. This is boys' job, quad's job, fitness job. They're here to make sure that you guys learn, you guys get all the skills that is necessary. What we have to reinforce though is Lloyd's point about discipline. A lot of discipline, we've seen that it just improves your overall ability to actually pass the course. This is no joke. This 12 weeks is gonna be intense, it's gonna be a lot of work. And for that to actually occur, and for that to happen, we need total commitment from you guys. And so these rules, attendance policy, class policy, they're actually in place to help you. We've seen that if you have more than 3 absences from this course, it impacts your learning abilities tremendously. It's very, very difficult for you to pass the course if you miss more than 3 days. Because of that, we have a policy. We want to make sure you guys all show up to class on time, you guys come here and you learn everything that you need to learn. Every day is extremely valuable. You learn and everything builds on top of each other. It's kind of like CSS, I guess it's a cascading effect, right? It's something I just learned recently. I didn't know what CSS stood for until I took a fitness pre-course class. And I'm putting it into, I guess, an application. Everything cascades. Day 1, day 2, day 3. If you miss one of those days, yes, it's allowed. We expect at some point, some of you guys won't be able to come to class. We get it, we understand. And so if that's the case, let us know 24 hours in advance. We'll make sure that the teachers don't freak out when someone's not here. Because honestly, that is their job. They take attendance every single day to make sure that you guys are all here. And if you do have absence, again, please email us at absence@crowschool.en. We'll make sure that all the instructors know. And more importantly, then we have a record to make sure that on that day that you missed, you need to make it up. You need to listen to the lecture, you need to find Paul or Vidnar or Roy and ask what happened on that day, because you have to learn what you missed. It's extremely important. Does that make sense for everybody? Does everyone understand why these rules are in place? And so then, this also goes into the homework. This just goes back to what Jurg is saying. Discipline. If you don't do your homework, you're not gonna understand it very well. And like what Lloyd was saying, like teamwork, you have to jump into working with another team to be able to understand the material. Same thing with lectures and doing the homework. If you just listen and watch them code, I guess you'll learn a little bit, but you won't actually be able to code. And that's what the homework is there for. We have to make sure that you guys do the homework every single day. Now, having said that, a lot of times you won't be able to complete the homework in just one session and one sitting. Also, some of you might be able to complete it in one sitting, but then you decide, I can do it better. I can improve it. And so that's why we have these rules in place where you can submit a assignment on GitHub before you actually leave, so that the link and everything is available for the students to check your homework. Sorry, teachers to check your homework. But then afterwards, if you go home, if you want to improve, or if you think of something, like a lot of times you're going through work and you get kind of stuck, you're not really sure, but then you find out, you get up, walk around, go take a walk, go eat dinner, and then you have an idea randomly, or you're in the shower. A lot of people have shower thoughts for some reason. You can go and fix your code or improve something, but that's what that is there for. So at midnight every single day, you should complete your homework. That makes sense for everybody? All right. Okay. Now, before we go right into feedback, everyone should have gotten this over the weekend. It is a PDF, and everyone should have a copy of this. Do you want a copy? Okay. Everyone should have a copy of this. Does everyone have one? All right. So before break, I know like we're going through this, so during the break, you guys could, if you haven't read it yet, you should definitely read it. It just goes over our policies, what happens if you miss class, what are the specific rules. There's also a little checklist with a little checkbox. We want you to make sure that you read and understand each of those bullet points. Please initial each bullet point, and then at the end of the document, sign it. This is your contract to us. Not only is our contract to you to make sure that we are gonna do everything humanly possible to make sure that you guys have a good experience, that you guys are learning everything that you possibly can. During the time, we're already thinking about how to find you guys jobs. We have an entire team already in place that's going to help you do that. But with commitment, it only works with both parties. If you guys don't commit to us, we cannot commit to you. It's just life, and that's just how things just work. If you're a student, you're here to learn. We're here to give you everything. If you cannot give us your 100% commitment to us, that actually is, unfortunately, like that's something that we cannot do. Just like the horse reference, like we can drag you to class every single day if we were in, but if you don't want to drink water, if you don't want to eat, if you don't want to learn, sorry, there's not much else we can do. But this is just to make sure that you guys understand, if you're gonna come here to drink, if you're gonna come here to learn, we're gonna do everything possible to make sure that you guys get your fill, and then afterwards we're gonna place you. So that's our commitment to you guys. And how we do that is with the weekly feedback. Every Monday at 10 a.m., because you guys are all gonna be here at 9:50, 10 a.m., we're gonna give you guys a survey. The survey is gonna be just a few couple questions and then an open-ended question about how class operations was, how was last week's lectures, how was the homework. We're gonna ask you guys these questions. And this is time to be really, really honest to us, because we take that information, we take your feedback, and we wanna apply it immediately the next day. We wanna make changes immediately. And this idea comes actually from a kind of product management idea about lean, like quick iterations, all about sprints. Do we have a section about talking about like agile, like
Yes,
sprints?
we got about
Yeah.
that class.
So you guys are gonna learn kind of about that, like how programming works. Generally, a lot of people work in 2-week sprints. So in 2 weeks, you guys have a certain goal, and then we're thinking the same way. You guys, every single week, it's a sprint for us. We're trying to do the best that we can. And I guarantee you, some of you will not be happy. You guys might say to us, pull us aside, say, hey, I wasn't happy with this week. This wasn't ready. But that is only time for us to be able to improve. You tell us what the mistakes were, and we will do everything possible to make sure those changes happen every single week. And that way, at the end of the 12 weeks, we're going to make this an even better product for you guys, and that way you guys learn even more. So that's our commitment. Again, everything coming back to commitment. This is what we're doing for you. Please do this for us. It only helps both of us to be able to elevate to the next level. All right. Again, absence at Quota School. If you guys are going to be absent, please let us know. The big number is we don't want you to miss more than 3. If for some reason this has to happen, our strict policy is, honestly, we might have to ask you to take the next course. So don't be late. In a catastrophic event that something does happen, please talk to us. We want you all to succeed. And if you have to go above the 3, we can discuss. And we can figure out how this works. Maybe there's some kind of test to make sure that you guys can follow along, that you guys can make sure that you can, your skill is enough to get you over the few months. And then also experience at Quota School, that will email the entire experience team. And so if you have some feedback that you'd like to get outside of that, or if you need someone to talk to about what's happening one-on-one, please feel free to email us. Look at the email, we'll set something up for you guys and chat. All right?
Big one. Yeah.
Do you have any questions, guys, about just the policies in general? No? Did I do that well of a job? I don't think so. Anyways, I know there might be some questions afterwards. If you see me, please introduce yourself so you remind me who you are. And then afterwards, I would be happy to talk to you guys. Right? Cool. Alright, going into job placement. Again, how I mentioned, job placement. Sorry, I'm talking so much, I apologize, I'm not as interesting as Lloyd, but I'm trying to be a little bit more serious here. This is why you guys are here. Job placement. I'm not gonna lie, this course is in the end all about making sure that you guys are employed. Now, how we do that is actually, there's a lot of stuff that we've done over time to improve this course. The portfolios, what portfolios actually means. Does anyone actually have an idea what portfolio means when it comes to coding? Exactly. It really is just your code. It's kind of like, it's kind of the resume in a sense, right? So throughout the entire 12 weeks, you'll have homeworks, you'll have a major final project in the end, but also in between every single week, there's gonna be little mini assignments, little mini projects that you guys all work on. That is the development of your portfolio. Just like any photographer or designer, they work on little tiny projects they want to display. They want to showcase their skills and their abilities. What is the flavor of, this person's photography? What is it like? What do you guys like to code? What's your style of coding? And that develops your portfolio. And from the portfolio is actually what we send to the employers. Employers look at that. And they also look at resumes, right? And so we're gonna help you guys create a resume. We're gonna help you kind of walk through, maybe put in create a LinkedIn portfolio. We're gonna help you guys throughout the course kind of decide which companies do you want to work for? What are you guys actually interested in? We're gonna send you out there. Find 5 companies that really interest you and come back to us. What is that? What are the 5 things that you want to do? One of the homeworks might be create a resume, update your LinkedIn. Little things like that we found really help the outcome. And we put this in place throughout the curriculum. It's not, again, what Boy said, learning to be a software developer isn't just code. It's also these tiny little things that you're gonna have to do. Present your skills, showcase to the employer what you can really do. Right? You work with teams, this is your portfolio. These are the types of things that you like. Right? All this kind of stuff, we don't really know that about you yet. You might not even know where you guys wanna work. Right? And throughout this entire time, it's here to really help you guys kind of pinpoint which company do you want to go for. Right? So by the end, hopefully we have some idea what you guys like to do, what kind of software engineering job you like. Because there's so many. There's so many that you can find for, right? But it's what you guys want. It's what you want to find and what your goals are. And we want to apply that to the entire curriculum and make sure that in the end, everything just aligns. So this entire job placement procedure, starting from even now, is what we've done to really improve the product in the end. These are some of the partners. Sorry, I forgot to mention this. These are some of the partners that we do work for. Some of our Coda School alumni are actually placed at these kind of companies, including Coda School, I guess. So.
I would like to say something real quickly. Sorry, James.
No.
That in my last class, we had 17 students graduate. 16 of them now have jobs. This is December 12th. Okay, so it's about a little over 2 months. 16 out of 17 have jobs. Right now, I see 16 students. I want it to be 16 out of 16 this time. Because 16 out of 17 is only 94%. I like getting 100% personally. So just know that here's some real companies that former students are working at. And students before this are working at other places like Grab, Facebook, etc. Okay, so yeah. So we're gonna move forward now and just, sorry, we have a couple more slides to talk about the class and we're gonna be done. Okay, some of our philosophies in Coda School, or this is probably one of the main philosophies at Coda School. You learn by doing. Then you learn by asking, and then you learn by helping, okay? So what is learning by doing? Kind of like what we said a second ago about doing homework. If I sit there and I watch someone cook food, right? Does that make me a cook? Nope. If I sit there and I watch someone fly a plane, does that make me a pilot? Also no. If I watch someone fix a car, I am not a mechanic. So you gotta do all the assignments, okay? And like I said, don't do them perfect. I'm not making a demand that you guys do it perfect. Just try. Type out the keys, okay? Does that make sense? Secondly, you learn by asking. It's very, very normal to get stuck when programming. I promise you, I've been stuck many, many times. I don't know how to do this. I need my technical lead's help. Charles, please come help me. Please, 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 please. So it's okay to ask for help. That's what our job is, you know? So like, you know, like when you guys have been working for a while, please, like you're gonna have to develop that skill of asking. Your technical lead in the future, once again, will not expect you to have all the answers because they don't have all the answers. But you know that old saying, 2 heads are better than 1? 2 heads are better than 1. Know that like a part of your responsibility as a developer is to like know yourself. Know that like your technical lead just gave you something that you have no idea how to do. And if you sit there all day stuck and you come up with no solution, that's grounds to get fired right there. So if you guys are stuck on a problem and you need to be aware like, oh, I don't know how to do this, and you need to like man up. I hate saying it like that, but man up and say, oh, I don't know how to do this. Charles, can you clarify? Or can you give me a direction to go? And I think the process of asking that question in the correct way will help you develop as a developer. Develop in this field. And then lastly, for those of you that have been working hard and have done a lot of the work beforehand, you can also learn by helping. I promise you that. That's actually part of the reason why I'm here. Because I think every single time I explain a concept to you guys, and then every single time I do that, I get a more fundamental understanding of what's going on. So if you guys are working and like you complete your assignments beforehand, do not be scared to help out your teammates. Yeah, help out your teammates because explaining to them will help you solidify your knowledge of the concept. Does that make sense, everyone? Yeah? Oh, I forgot one more. Learn by struggling. So this is a kind of fun for me. What do we mean by that? Can someone give me a suggestion? Like, throw out any idea. What do we mean by you learn by struggling? Bitna, what do I mean?
I think struggling is like when everyone goes out on Friday night and I'm the only one who cannot go out and have to work on something. I think that is struggling.
Exactly. If you guys are like me, you guys probably like hanging out with your friends, right? if you guys are bad people like me, sometimes you like drinking. So what I'm saying is that, like, yes, we get that, man. As someone who drinks alcohol, I love going out with my friends when they invite me out. I love going to birthday parties. I like going to the club. But every single week is someone's birthday party. Every single week is someone going to the club. And then we have to be an adult. At that moment, we got to decide, which one do we want more? Do I want to get an A on this project so that next week I can get an A on the next project? Or do I want to go get fucked up tonight? So decide, you know? I think a part of learning is just struggling, you know, like struggling and saying like, oh, I really wish I could go to this party tonight, but I got to stay home and practice this assignment. So that's a part of it too. Losing sleep at night is also struggling. Staying up until 2, 3 in the morning, working on your assignments. Okay, so I think you guys get it. I like it. Okay, so we're almost done. I'm sorry guys for lecturing you about life. We're gonna now talk about why we should struggle. It's for that thing that keeps you going, in my opinion, okay? No one wants to struggle. But inside of each and every one of us is something that keeps us motivated, something that will give us the energy to wake up super early so that we can drive halfway across town so that we can learn this skill. For me personally, it's my friends, my family. I don't need that much money. I don't have any gold on me. The only reason why I want to do better in my life, or not the only, the main reason why I want to do better in my life is so that like I can be in a place where if my friends and my family need me, I can support them. So, I don't want to like lecture you guys too much about that. So we're just gonna let some really smart people talk to you guys about why they think learning the skill is important. So some of the people you're gonna see in here is Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and a ton of other people.
What do you want to be when you grow up, Olivia? An astronaut.
I want to be a fashion designer.
A basketball player.
I want to be an actor.
A doctor.
A teacher.
A chef.
An artist. What do you want to be when you grow up? A mermaid.
Do you know what a computer programmer is?
Yeah, no.
No. I think it's something that has codes and is able to decode a mystery.
I think that they...
Wait, what?
Computer programmer?
Nowadays, just about everything requires some form of programming. So, what is it? Programming is basically explaining to a computer what you want it to do for you.
When you're programming, you're teaching possibly the stupidest thing in the entire universe, a computer, how to do something.
Programming is one of the only things in the world that you can do where you can sit down and just make something completely new from scratch, you know, whatever you want.
It's really not unlike kind of playing an instrument or something, or playing a sport. It starts out being very intimidating, but you kind of get the hang of it over time.
Coding is something that can be learned, and I know it can be intimidating. A lot of things are intimidating, but what isn't?
A lot of the coding that people do is actually fairly simple. It's more about the process of breaking down problems than sort of coming up with complicated algorithms as people traditionally think about it.
Well, if it's fairly simple, why aren't there more of us doing it? Over the next 10 years, there will be 1.4 million jobs in computer science, and only about 400,000 grads qualified for those jobs. That's a shortage of 1 million people. So, how do you start?
I was obsessed with maps when I was a kid, and cities specifically. So I taught myself how to program. I had a very clear goal of what I wanted to do, which is to see a map of the city on my screen and play with it. Put things on the map, move things around the map, see what was happening in the city, how it worked, how it lived, how it breathed.
The best early thing was actually using software to decide when the classes in my school would meet, and that put me in a position to decide which girls were in my class.
The first program I wrote asked things like, what's your favorite color? Or how old are you?
I first learned how to make a green circle and a red square appear on the screen.
The first time I actually had something come up and say, hello world, and I made a computer do that, it was just astonishing.
When I finally learned a little bit of programming, that blank wall resolved into a bunch of doors, and you open them, and finally you start to open enough doors that the light comes in. And to me, a finished program is like a structure filled with light. All the corners are illuminated. You understand the structure of it. It's a really serene feeling to have completed that.
It took me some time to realize that creating things with your hands or creating code, creating programs is just a different way to express creativity. I think right now there's a big emergence of the culture of making. People who make their own scarves and hats, people who write their own apps.
Now it's just limited by your imagination and sort of what kinds of ideas can you know, what kind of understanding can you build into the computer so that it can do these things that were previously impossible?
All great things are built in teams when you collaborate with other smart people.
You're testing your ideas, you're stimulating each other. That's what makes us successful. It's not some flash of brilliance by somebody who then codes 24 hours a day for 3 weeks. It's what happened. The magic happens when we're all on the same page, collaborating and building something together.
There's a much greater need in the world for engineers and people who can write code than there will ever be supply. And so we all live these very charmed lives. To get the very best people, we try to make the office as awesome as possible.
We have a fantastic chef.
Free food.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Free laundry.
Snacks. Even places to play and video games and scooters. There's all these kind of interesting things around the office and places where people can play or relax or go to think or play music or be creative.
I went on the Bureau of Labor Statistics for the United States, and there's about a third of the pie that's all the things you would expect. It's, they're working in the government, they're working in typical technology jobs. But then, the rest of the pie, and it was the majority of the pie, just split down into these little teeny slices of every industry imaginable. And what it is, computers are everywhere. You want to work in agriculture? Do you want to work in entertainment? Do you want to work in manufacturing? It's just all over.
Here we are, 2013. We all depend on technology to communicate, to bank, information, and none of us know how to read and write code.
So you guys, what else? Who else has an idea of what we can change with our programming? What else can we do? Tiffany?
What I saw my students take away from using Scratch and programming in our classroom is that they were willing to push through problems. It really builds critical thinking, it builds problem solving, and it's something that they can then apply to math in the classroom or their reading skills. We integrated science with this programming.
Okay, so I hope you guys can see that basically programming is dope. There's some really rich and smart people that say that it's awesome. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, a ton of people. I'm going to show you one more thing about what programming has done for me, and this goes back to what I said about having freedom and having opportunities. Okay, I'm going to show you 3 screenshots. Okay, or not screenshots, real text messages. So basically, for those of you who are not Vietnamese and cannot read this right here, for me personally, I mean it when I say that if you guys learn how to program, you guys will have tons of opportunities. Okay? I'm sure everyone here has heard of Vingroup, right? Vingroup? Yeah? So know that Loy is not the best engineer in the world. I promise you that one. Yet, because Loy has proven himself, there are people from Vingroup whose job it is to come try to convince Loy to work at Vingroup. That's what this girl's saying right here. Hey, I was looking at your profile. Are you interested in working at Vingroup? That's one person. I'll show you one more or two more. This guy right here, Dang Van Tran. This is the director of engineering at Grab. He's saying to me, I'm hiring right now. He's trying to convince me to go work at his company. That's a real fact in my life. You read it right here. Hey, I see you can just work at Grab on weekdays, and on the weekends you can do whatever you want. I and Grab will support this, Loy, if this is important to you. I will support this. So I want you guys to keep motivated, okay? Please. And then the last thing I'm gonna show you one more. This is a former student of mine, Ray. He's saying, Ray here is a former student. He graduated a couple classes ago. I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to brag. But I am trying to tell you that Ray graduated from a previous class of mine. And he said, Henry and I, which is another former student, are now both working at a bank together. And he messaged me and said, hey, Lloyd, thank you for everything you told me. You really tried to prepare us for the real world. The things you used to say really make sense now, man. So yeah, just keep going, okay? That makes me feel great. I hope that, like for me, like helping people, helping my friends and family is what I told you guys a second ago. That's how I do it, right there. Just working really hard and doing a good job so that I can do this. All right, so we're gonna do a little exercise, a little written exercise that has nothing to do with programming now, before we break. Sorry guys, I know this is very serious. Okay. Whoa. So we want you guys all to open up a drive.google.com, and write a letter to yourself. Basically, in this letter, we want you guys to thank yourselves for having made it successfully through this class. And I want you guys to come up with a visualization, okay? Imagine what your life is going to look like, and thank yourself for that. And then write down some stuff you guys are gonna do for yourselves to thank yourselves, because it can change your life. When I graduated college, I promised myself, if I graduate college, I'm gonna go visit Vietnam. I graduated college, I went to Vietnam, it changed my life. I decided I wanted to move here after that. So guys, please spend a few moments. We have another 20 minutes before our official break, and please write down some serious stuff. Don't rush through this. Write down how you think your life will change when you guys learn how to become developer, when you guys learn the skills to become a developer. And then write down all the positive things that you guys think will happen, and just thank yourselves for dealing with Loy and his bullshit. Okay? Okay, can you guys do that right now?
You say Google Docs?
Just do it somewhere where you don't lose it. Yeah, anyway, I don't care that much. But make sure you guys don't lose it. If my instructions are unclear, I'm about to give you an example link right here that you guys can use as an example. Yes. Oh, no. They don't know. Okay. You want me to say it right now? Yeah. Guys, we're going to work on this and just hang out. And then in a few minutes, Coder School is ordering lunch for you guys, pizza. Who here likes pizza? Yay!
Also, one of the requirements to eat pizza is you have to sign the class policy.
Yeah.
So finish what you guys are doing. This is really important. This vision statement is actually very important. So follow I think there's a link here, like Wonderlust, to like the visualization of finishing a goal and stuff like that. So it's really important.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, fine. Let me write one as an example, okay, guys?
Yeah, and so lunch will be here in a little bit. Probably when you guys are done with this exercise, pizza might be available. Be very close, but again, please sign this. If you have some issues with it, please talk to me. I'm very open. I'm pretty friendly, I think. Yeah, but we can talk about it. But I would like to collect this before lunch begins, so that everyone knows, just to give everyone some time. Cool.
Thank you, James. Okay, so it works kind of like this. You say, Dear Loy, for example, I'm writing it for me, so I should say my name, right? Thank you thank you for dedicating your life. I typo a lot, guys, so forgive me. Your life to the students for the past 3 months. After you passed 16 out of 16 students, you got a huge raise. After that raise, you went on vacation and saw some of the world. After your vacation, you had an epiphany. This means like a deeper understanding of how the world works. Because of those things, you became a better person and had a better life, had more influence, got to yell at people, got to fire people, got to hire people. All things which are kind of fun, I guarantee you. You guys get in a position where you're allowed to yell at people, you feel great. So just write something like that, okay? Write more detailed than me though, okay guys? Does anyone have any questions? Come on guys, this is not difficult. Something like that.